There's something about TV ads that have us fumbling for the remote. But are ads louder than the programs they interrupt? Curious Canberra received this question from someone who suspects they are. While it's a bit different to the kinds of questions we normally answer, we decided to take it on. The volume of commercials doesn't just affect Canberrans, or even Australians. The US has had the Commercial Advertisement Loudness Mitigation Act since 2012 to stop broadcasters from battering the eardrums of its citizens. Without any legislation like this in Australia, it's worth having a closer look and a listen. Loudness according to industry rule. So, do TV stations turn up the volume during ad breaks? The simple answer to that question is no. As you can see in the image above, the audio levels of an ad break only differ slightly to those of a news bulletin. That's because commercial television stations have to comply with guidelines set out by Free TV Australia. The industry body declined to be interviewed for this story but suggested an expert within the ABC, Ian Dash, an audio engineer and research officer at the ABC, walked me through Free TV's operational practice note 59, which set the rules on loudness. OP 59 says that TV content must have an average loudness of 24 lkfs, regardless of whether it is a program or an ad, Ian said. The measurement is made on the entire program or ad and averaged, so some of the time the program or ad will be louder than 24 lkfs and some of the time it will be softer than 24 lkfs. LKFS stands for loudness weighted full scale. In simple terms, it's a way of measuring loudness, much like how a speedometer indicates how fast a car is traveling. The commercial TV networks all adhere closely to this standard, Ian explained. Any ad that does not comply with OP 59 is rejected, and the ad producer has to correct the loudness before the TV station will accept it for broadcast. The tricks of the trade. UN Canberra-based editor John Masiello is cutting TV commercials. TVCs. If you're in the business, audio levels are never far from his mind. As far as levels, you want everything, especially the voiceover or the narration or the dialogue cut through, and then to drive it, and effects just to add texture to it. John Masiello cuts TV commercials for Canberra company Screencraft. But the strict rules imposed by Free TV Australia mean that the ads he works on comply with loudness requirements. With TVCs it's more about how much can I get in there without overdoing it, he said. Because you want to get your message across. Even with rules in place, commercials can still seem significantly louder. An ad blasting the maximum allowable loudness could play after a quiet section of a show, a jarring contrast that could still be within the rules. But Ian, with his years of experience in the business, says it's in TV stations' interest to keep the viewer happy. This is usually seen as a broadcaster's problem, but things can be done by the advertiser, by the TV broadcaster and by the program maker to soften the blow, he said. What about the ads we see? Catch-up and subscriptioning services also bring ads into our homes. But not all of the ads that pop up on our screens are subject to Free TV's regulations. There's a lot more scope with, John tells me as he cuts an item in his edit suite. You don't have to stick to 15, 30, 60-second running times as you do for TV ads, and you can go as loud as you want. Ian Dash from the ABC said the global nature of content makes it difficult to police. It is the Wild West compared with free-to-air broadcasting, he said. While that may be so, the industry is moving to address the issue. Just last month the Interactive Advertising Bureau IAB released a series of guidelines for ads. At the moment we've gone out with something that's fairly straightforward in terms of taking the standards that are used in TV and saying let's apply the same in digital video, IAB Chief Executive Vijay Solanki said. I think most of the key players in Australia would agree that user experience is important, so pretty confident that once we push it out across our members it will be taken on board. The guidelines will be distributed to the body's members over the coming months. It was pretty unanimously felt that this was something that needs to be addressed, Vijay said.